I'm Sam Juan. I was born and raised in Bahrain and joined the Army right after high school. I spent 10 years on active duty, and when I joined back in 2003, I didn't know anything about the military. I'd just been in the United States for about 3.5 years. I joined to leave my abusive home. I just needed to get away. When I first arrived in Afghanistan, I switched over to the cultural support team. It was a very elusive program. It was really like a picture of a woman on this poster, and the caption was, want to be a part of history. This program was to help special operations teams integrate in the villages, have us speak to the women and kids. This is the first time women are able to do this. Just a lot of pressure. I didn't want to mess up. But having the time to kind of decompress years later, we did some questionable things. And I don't know if I am okay with a lot of the stuff that went down.
The aftermath of an airstrike in Logar province, which it's alleged killed civilians. Afghan officials say senior Taliban leaders were inside as dinner guests of a tribal elder when the attack happened. It's believed some of the civilians who were killed were women and children preparing food.
And the only survivors were these two women, the mother and her sister. They were hysterical. "Leave me here to die. You killed all my children." I don't know what told me to do this, but I asked everyone to leave the room. Everyone get out. And I just cried with her. And I apologized. And she was telling me how hard it was for her to be under the rubble and just watch all her kids die in front of her. And that she wishes she could have just died there too. And for what, we didn't even find the person. Just some questionable actions. But your team comes first. And if I raise a red flag, I'd be outcasted. And I'm already an outsider. I didn't have any other women with me. It showed me what's important here. Loyalty before integrity. Like the rest of my trauma, I swallowed it. I didn't tell anyone. I buried it for a long time. One of the things I did while I was in Afghanistan that really helped me cope with me being there was I started drawing and painting, and I decided to pursue that once I left active duty. I poured myself into my artwork. I stayed in my studio a lot, all hours of the day. I was newly married. I neglected my relationship, didn't try to make friends. I was kind of in my own world, numbing my thoughts and feelings. I'm distracting myself with unhealthy habits. A lot of late nights, multiple days up in a row, drinking myself to sleep, using other things to get me through the night, having nightmares or flashbacks. And the disassociation, it was happening more and more frequently. I'm losing control. There's something else going on here. I think I'm ready to figure out what that is. March 18th, 2020. I stayed up all night and then made that post. It was exactly what I needed. To get it out there, to finally say hey, this happened to me. And I've been covering it up ever since, It was overwhelming, the support. But one of those people that reached out was a fellow vet. She told me about a person who could possibly help me. And that's how I got introduced to plant medicine. I'm open to anything at this point, and he invited me to a peyote ceremony. The chanting and the drum, it was beautiful. It's introspective. It forces you to look at events in your life and process them in a way. It was relieving. I get a little bit of closure. I had buried so many of these memories. And when you're on a journey, you have no defenses, right? These memories come back. You're like watching your life movie. It was meaningful. At the end of the ceremony, everyone was just like, you look like a completely different person. Your skin is just so much more radiant. I just felt so much better. It made me face everything that has happened in my life and really look at it from an honest perspective. I had reached out again to see if I could get to another retreat. So the Hope Project does retreats for female veterans or spouses. And they had an upcoming retreat. I hadn't done that in like an all-female group before. The psilocybin experience was light. It had a more feminine energy to it. Being able to share the trauma was relieving. A lot of them were the same way, you know. It's just very surprising how common it is. It's one of the best forms of therapy. I can't speak highly enough about it. It's helped me so much. These experiences helped me understand how important it is to be kind to myself. I'm much more calm. I'm much more patient. I have the desire to communicate more. You know, if we do these experiences without taking the time to think about them, they're just an experience. Having a tool to integrate the journey, art for me has been the tool that has helped me the most. My body of work now is all inspired by the medicine. It's my visual journal. I have a hard time verbalizing my emotions, but with this type of art, and for me painting takes a long time, it helps me process those emotions over a long period of time, right? And really think through what I'm supposed to learn or heal from or address. When I get into the creative zone, it gives me peace. It brings a sense of calm. And so I have the medicine to thank for me continuing to create. This medicine needs to be accessible because they are powerful and impactful and have changed my life. And I know it can change so many others.